came across this article, and basically it was a story in Utah, and basically this mother of a 13-year-old boy who had Asperger's syndrome, mental illness disorder. She called requesting a crisis intervention because he was having an episode due to having bad separation anxiety because his mother had to return to work. When she called the crisis intervention, 2 officers arrived onto the scene, busted through the door, and she told them that she had mentioned that he was unarmed. She mentioned the situation that was happening, and the article said that in less than 5 minutes, the officers told him to get down on the ground, and they proceeded to shoot. He is now in the hospital, suffering from bladder injuries, intestine injuries, bullet to the shoulder. This child is 13 years old. And it really disturbed me at the fact that there's so many people with mental illnesses, and there's police officers that arrive on the scene and are not educated on how to handle a situation like that. And the first thing that they're so quick to do is shoot. And it's tough because, like, I myself deal with mental disorder. Like, I have bipolar disorder, and I have my episodes where I get angry and I get upset, and to think that cops can just come onto the scene and shoot you for having some kind of mental illness is sad, because they can't help it. And this child is 13 years old, and it doesn't have anything to do with race or anything like that. This is a mental health awareness issue. We need people, when situations like this happen, who are well trained and educated on how to handle mental health situations, like, like outbursts and Asperger's syndrome and autism and everything like that. I mean, look at Elijah McClain. Like, he was killed, and he was autistic, and he was different, and he was killed because of it. Like, we need people who are trained and educated to go onto the scene and handle these situations that happen. Because officers don't know how to de-escalate these situations, and the first thing that they do when they can't or don't know how to handle the situation is to shoot. And that is what we've been dealing with in America, not just with mental illness, but with race as well. And I'm grateful that this kid is still alive, and he's able to live his life, but somebody like Elijah McClain is not able to live his life. And despite the whole race issue and everything like that, people shouldn't be singled out because of their mental health. I've gone through personal mental health situations where I was taken to the mental hospital, and I've had to deal with all of that, and I was treated like I was less than. I was treated like I was less than because I felt shitty about myself. And I was treated like I didn't know how to handle life because I was suicidal and because I had mental illness. So seeing that article, upon everything else that's going on in this world is it really hit me to the core, and I felt like I'm not even doing this for my show or anything like that. I really needed to just vent about it, because that kid could have easily died. He could have easily, his life could have easily been taken. And the fact that a mother requests a crisis intervention unit and explains everything that is going on before anybody arrives, why are officers arriving and coming through the door? This is where we need to eliminate no-knock warrants and everything like that. There's so many stories that I've seen of just officers just abusing their power, and I'm getting really angry about it, because it's like there's nothing that we can, like, I mean, we're doing a lot, everybody's doing in the streets, but it's just like we have to go outside and we have to mentally prepare ourselves that anything could fucking happen. And the fact that people of color have to go through that on a daily basis is heartbreaking. And now we see that mental health, people with mental health and mental health issues are not safe anymore as well. And it's just like adding to the list. And it's like, it's for somebody who can't control how they go about on a daily basis, does not deserve to get shot because they're having an episode, and they just need professionally trained people to handle that situation, whereas police officers do not. We preach that we want to defund the police and we want to, but look at the reason why we're chanting this. Because we're giving all of our money. Here in Lancaster City, where I live, 43% of the city's budget goes to the police officers. If you think that happens here, that happens everywhere else. Our police station has a spa in it, a pool in it. These people are getting catered to, while they're able to just go and run on the streets and just abuse their power and abuse what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to protect us, and they go in guns up first. Mental health is such an important topic that doesn't get talked about enough. You're so right. It doesn't get talked about. It gets put under the forefront, and then, you know, it always gets talked about after somebody gets hurt from it, or after somebody gets suffered from it. We're looked at as the crazy ones. You know what I'm saying? I remember in high school when I tried to commit suicide, like I said before, and even family members, my closest friends, everything like that, they did not understand why I wanted to do something like that. They looked at me as crazy. And the people that were in line to take care of me, who were there to give me the mental health test and see if I needed to be committed, which I was, they treated me like I was less than. That just because I was going through this mental problem, that I was not a human being. And that's what we need to open up to. We need to open up to the fact that we're all human beings. And we are all wired differently, but that does not mean that we should be condemned for it. Everybody goes through mental health. Even your closest friends who are smiling on a daily basis are probably going through a depression that you don't even know about. So what I want to make aware is that you need to make sure you check on your happy friends. You check on your friends that you think have it all good, that are making it, that you think that nothing could be going wrong for them. Because look at even instances like Robin Williams. who we thought nothing could be going perfectly wrong for him, but look where he is now. And we were too blind to see because we were just laughing at his work, that we didn't see the pain behind his eyes. You're not going to see it. People don't think about, oh, this person could be going through a mental shit on a daily basis. Or this person could be having an attitude or thinking that this person is an asshole or a bitch because they're having a bad day, but you may not know that they're struggling to put food in their family's stomachs. No, Nicole, you're right. Nobody looks under the surface. And for people who are just watching, I was just talking about an article that I had found about this 13-year-old boy who was shot multiple times because their mother called 911 requesting a crisis intervention unit, and instead 2 officers arrived on the scene, busted down the door, and within 5 minutes told him to get down on the ground and started shooting. This is a 13-year-old boy who had Asperger's syndrome and was having an episode because he was having bad separation anxiety because his mother was going back to work after being off for so long because of the pandemic. And the first thing that officers do is go in and shoot within 5 minutes. When somebody who is educated in the field of Asperger's syndromes or mental health in general could have gone into that situation and de-escalated the situation within 5 minutes. We need to start reallocating police funds to our nonprofit organizations that are doing everything that they can to help out in communities. And that's not just in Lancaster, that is everywhere. I know that people who are not from Pennsylvania or who are not living in Pennsylvania are watching this video. Racism and mental health awareness is real across the platforms, no matter where you're from. The first thing to do is to find your available resources. Find your available resources for mental health, for de-escalation training. Find all your resources. Look into your rights in general as a human being. I know there's not much as a person of color, but look into your rights as a human being so that you know how to handle the situation if it comes before your eyes. Because until we make a situation, we make this change where police officers aren't showing up to crises where that involve mental illness, they shouldn't be making decisions on how that should be justified. Until we can get to that point, we need to make this situation aware that mental health is real and that maybe calling 911 is not the best option to do for mental health instances. And I'm not trying to steer anybody away from anybody who wants to call 911, but as we've seen from cases like Elijah McClain and now Lyndon Cameron, who was shot multiple times for having Asperger's syndrome, you see that sometimes calling 911 is not the safest option. And I'm just being really real with y'all. It's not the safest option all the time. Mental health awareness is not brought to the forefront enough. And I really wanted to go on this live and express my feelings and my pain and my tears regarding the fact that there's people getting shot and killed over the fact of having a mental illness. There's so many things that are going on in this world right now. Whether you're blind to it or not, it's happening. Whether you want to see it or not, it's happening. And I understand that everybody has their own personal lives and everybody's busy. And everybody right now amongst the pandemic is trying to survive the best that they can in the best way that they know how, with the resources that we have given and that is limited to us. But I can guarantee you that wherever you are in this world, and wherever you are in the United States, there's somebody in your community that is fighting for people of color. There's somebody in your community that is fighting for mental health awareness. And if you just do your research a little bit and look into that, you might just find yourself a safe haven among people where you don't have to feel judged. You might find yourself among a safe haven of people that love you regardless of your mental health issues, and might even know how to give you advice on how to do different techniques and things like that to handle your anxiety or to handle your mental health issue. 911 is not always the best option, especially when police officers are involved. They don't know how to handle that. I mean, our police officers are shooting people because of the color of their skin. They're not equipped to handle a mental health crisis. They are one walking mental health crisis in a nutshell. And all of these funds are just getting plummeted and plummeted and plummeted, and taking away from the resources that are really actually benefiting not only people of color, but youth and everybody in the community, the working class, the poor. We're taking away from that so that we can fund these police that are handling situations that they're not equipped to handle, or they're not educated enough to handle. But they are educated enough to handle a gun. They are educated enough to pull out that gun from their waist, aim it, and shoot it, and make sure that they hit you at least once or twice. 911 is not always the best option. Always look for the resources in your community. There's always resources. Get therapy. Look for mental health. I'm not saying Western medicine is the best, because not everybody believes in taking, you know, prescribed pills and everything like that. Some people feel like going to a more holistic side of things. And I support that 100%. At the end of the day, you have the right to choose what is best for your body, whether that is medicine or whether that is holistic or whether that is calling 911 or not. You have that right over your body. Not anybody else, no matter how much they tell you that they do. So I wasn't going to go on live for too long about this. I just really wanted to make people aware. Look for your resources. Look for your outlets. Because there is, no matter what mental health issue you have, or no matter what you have going on in your life, there is somebody that is going through it with you or worse. And once we come together and unite and fight for change, that's when we start on the step to a right path and a better America. Not to sound like a politician or anything. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you letting me get my voice out and letting me show my raw emotion with this, because again, I'm going to reiterate, mental health is a serious thing, and you have resources to help. And if you're in the Lancaster community, reach out to me or Jantel or anybody that you see working out there, and, you know, reach out to Nicole and Crash, and reach out to everybody. And there are people who are willing there to help you everywhere, even if you feel like they're not. They're there somewhere in the behind the scenes working for a better community and a better world. Be open-minded to that. Live your life with love and compassion, and make sure you love yourself above all, and make sure you do not discourage yourself because you may have a mental health illness or because you are different. You are beautiful and you are powerful no matter who you are. Your voice will always be heard. And I'm here for it. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you later, okay?